confessed during the game that I cheated on our honeymoon. His reaction had me shaking. Hi everyone, I'm totally new to this app, so I have no idea if anyone will ever see this. If by some miracle you are seeing this, hi. I just wanted to get my story out there so I can have people to talk to. I can't really talk to my real-life friends and family about this. I think they all hate me right now. I recently got married to my long-term boyfriend, let's call him Sam, 27. Sam and I have been together for as long as I can remember. We were middle school best friends, high school sweethearts, and then college roommates. Yes, we were that couple that got engaged in college. The only reason we held off getting married for so long was because we were kind of broke. But Sam got promoted at work 2 years ago, and the money has been rolling in. After saving for years, we finally had enough to have the wedding of our dreams. All our friends talked about how annoyingly in love we were. They thought we were the perfect couple. They were wrong. Nobody knew this, but I have been cheating on Sam since high school and even into college. I was smart. I never cheated with anyone I knew I would see again, no matter how much I wanted to. I would go out to bars and sleep with guys from other places and locals from other towns. Then I would come back to Sam. He had no idea. Don't ask me why, because I don't really have an answer for that. The first time it happened, I blamed it on the alcohol and swore to myself that it would never happen again. The truth is I wasn't even that drunk. I just felt the need to cheat. It was like this hunger that I couldn't quench. I felt the need to cheat like nothing I had ever felt before. Of course, I felt bad that I lied straight to Sam's face, but I had urges he couldn't meet. Plus, what he didn't know wouldn't kill him. When Sam proposed in our senior year of college, I saw it as an opportunity to start over, get a clean slate. Sam and I were going to move to Seattle immediately after getting married. I thought that I just wouldn't cheat again till we got married. And I did. I was so good at not cheating. For 3 months. This time, I messed up. I cheated on Sam with someone in his dorm. In my defense, he had just moved in, and I had no idea who he was. I had gone out to get some groceries for the week. We bumped into each other in the cereal aisle. One thing led to another, and we ended up hooking up in his car. This is where I admit that I lied. I lied when I said that I don't have a reason for cheating. I do. It's the rush. God, the rush. It's amazing. The feeling of doing something you know you're not supposed to be doing. There's nothing like it. It's like free falling from a very tall building. When we finished hooking up, I went back home to Sam. That was the only time I broke my promises to myself. For 6 years, I was faithful to Sam and only Sam. Looking back, I guess I was just getting it out of my system. We got married in our dream venue. We spent the night laughing and dancing with all our friends and family. It was perfect. I spent at least 30 minutes just hugging all my friends before we left. Straight after the honeymoon, we were moving straight to Seattle. I didn't know when I'd see them again. That night, Sam and I just went straight to bed. We were exhausted from the day, and the next morning we had a flight to Portugal to catch. Portugal was beautiful. Sam and I would wake up with the sun and go watch the sunrise at the beach. We would get breakfast at the hotel and spend the day exploring the city. At night, we would make love, then snuggle before falling asleep. Sam was always the more romantic one of the both of us. During the honeymoon, he would surprise me with flowers, late-night walks, and candle-lit dinners at nice restaurants. Sam was the type of guy that most women could only dream about. He was straight out of romance novels. Yet, during the honeymoon, those urges from earlier came back, maybe because I knew that we were tied down to each other permanently now, or maybe because my libido was in overdrive. Either way, that need to cheat on Sam was overpowering. I was good the first couple of days. Even when my eyes strayed, I forced them back to Sam. When I wanted to hook up with our tour guide, I didn't. When I wanted to hook up with our massage guy, I didn't. When I wanted to hook up with our Uber driver, I didn't. I was doing so well that I thought I could just make it through the entire trip without being unfaithful to Sam. It all fell apart on our last night in Portugal. Sam had woken me up with kisses and cuddling. In between all that, he told me he had an idea. He wanted our last night to be really special. He said he was planning something big. I tried to ask what it was, but he just grinned at me and told me it was a surprise. Sam loved planning surprises, and I loved getting them. It was our dynamic, and it worked. He asked me to just stay in the room while he got everything ready. According to him, he'd be out all day getting the surprise ready. 2 hours later, Sam was out of our apartment in the resort. I was sad I wouldn't get to spend the day with Sam, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't also relieved that I would have some time to myself. Nobody tells you that you spend every waking moment with your partner when you're on vacation, LOL. I decided that I was going to spend the day just chilling by the private pool in our apartment. I packed up a nice book and my digital camera to take some pictures. I swam and sunbathed and played mermaids by myself. Everything was going great until he showed up. The doorbell rang sometime around 12. It was the pool boy. He told me he was supposed to clean up our pool. I noticed that he tried to be subtle when checking me out in my bikini. Men could be so obvious sometimes. I let him in and he got to work. I spent a good 5 minutes admiring how good he looked. I didn't even know his name. All I knew was that I wanted to sleep with him. I immediately started my seduction plan. I already knew he was attracted to me, so it wouldn't be so hard. It was hard. The pool boy was oblivious to all my flirting. I couldn't figure him out. After 30 minutes of unsuccessful flirting, I decided to ask him why he wasn't ripping my clothes off. He stammered out a reply. He said that he knew this was the honeymoon suite, so he just assumed I had a husband. I laughed and told him I did, but he would never find out. Pool boy didn't need any more hints. We spent the afternoon making love. It was wonderful. That thrill of doing things like this right under Sam's nose was insane. Seriously, it's like drugs to me. Pool boy got out of the apartment way before Sam got back. I changed the sheets and sprayed some air freshener. I got rid of any evidence that anyone else was in the apartment. When Sam got back, he was very loving. He showered me with kisses, calling me his wife and his favorite person in the world. As usual, that familiar guilt tried to come in, but I quickly pushed it down. I liked this life I was living. Why couldn't I have my cake and eat it? Sam told me to get dressed. I put on a nice floral dress. On the ride to the surprise, Sam was basically vibrating with excitement. I could tell that he had worked really hard on whatever it was. Sam booked an Uber to the airport. I remember turning to him all confused. Had he found out about the pool boy? Was he so angry at me that he was cutting the trip short? Turns out he had no idea. He was taking me to the airport for a late-night helicopter ride. Those rides weren't cheap. I'm sure it cost a fortune. It was very romantic. Like I said, Sam was a natural at this stuff. The helicopter ride showed us the whole city lit up against the dark night. I felt like I was flying. Sam wasn't even looking at the view. He spent the entire ride just staring at me. It was loud as heck in the helicopter, but he mouthed, "I love you," like 5 times. For the first time in a long time, I felt way too guilty to say it back. Sam didn't notice. When the ride was over, Sam took me on a walk through the city. We walked hand in hand through the streets, taking in the sights. Sam held me close. When we got to a big fountain in the middle of the town square, Sam turned to look at me. He looked nervous. In the distance, a band was playing some music. Just mentioning it so you guys can get how romantic it was. Sam held my hand in 2 of his. If we weren't already married and literally on our honeymoon, I would have thought he was proposing again. He wasn't. He told me how happy he was that I was his. He told me how much he wanted to build a family and a future with me. He said he couldn't imagine doing life with anyone else beside him. By the time he finished, I had tears in my eyes. I felt appreciated and loved in a way I never have before. I kissed him in the street as the band stopped playing music and cheered us on. As I felt Sam smile into the kiss, I made a vow to myself. I was never going to cheat on Sam again. I know what you're thinking. Haven't you already made that promise to yourself? Yes, I have. Only thing is, this time it was going to be different. I was going to be different. That night, as I laid in Sam's arms, I realized that I had to do everything I could to prevent Sam from ever finding out about my affairs. The minute we landed back in the States, Sam and I hired a moving truck. We had asked some of our friends to help us pack up while we were gone. By the time we pulled up to the home we had shared for years, our friends and boxes were outside waiting for us. 30 minutes later, the truck was packed up and we were hugging our friends goodbye. Sam and I had a long trip ahead of us, 3 whole days on the road. I was looking forward to spending some time with my husband, just us and no one else. No friends, no family, no band in the corner of the town square, only peace, diner breakfasts, and the radio. Sam was vibrating with energy as we started the trip. You'd have no idea this man just stepped off a 10-hour flight. He let me nap for hours. When I woke up, we were in Wisconsin. We stopped for some breakfast. Sam struck up conversation with the people in the diner. They were all drawn to him, like moths to the light. That was Sam for you. Light personified. I think the TikTok girlies call his type of man golden retrievers. Either way, if you didn't love Sam, it's because you hadn't met him yet. Sam was mine. This good man that everyone loved was mine. In that diner, watching everyone just flock to Sam, I felt my resolve harden. I would never cheat again. Sam would never find out. It took a while, but we eventually made it to Seattle. It's exactly what they say. Wet and beautiful. We weren't really in the city, kind of in the outskirts. Our new place was huge, blue with a wraparound porch and a view of the sea. I imagined having kids here with Sam, watching them run around in our huge backyard. Unpacking was a nightmare. We spent a month just deciding where everything goes. Then we spent another month renovating. We needed to redo the attic and tile the bathroom. The yard needed some work, and the guest bedroom needed new paint. Sam and I have this weird thing where we refuse to pay someone for something we can do ourselves. That's what happens when you grow up middle class, I guess. What I'm trying to say is that we barely had time to hang out. I missed my husband. I missed my friends. I missed my family. I missed Chicago. I felt that urge to cheat again creep up. This time it felt like a literal compulsion. It had never been this bad before. Maybe because I wasn't getting as much attention from Sam as I would have liked. Maybe I just wanted to feel that thrill again. It doesn't even matter, because I didn't cheat. That's right, I kept my promise to myself. About 3 months after moving into our new place, a couple of our friends from back home called. It was nice to hear from them and catch up on neighborhood gossip. That's when they told us they'll come see us in 2 weeks. Like I said, I love surprises, so I was over the moon. Sam and I immediately started preparing for them to stay over. There were 2 couples, so we started clearing out the guest rooms for them. By this time, we were mostly settled in, but there were still some boxes lying around. 2 days after the phone call with our friends, I decided to tackle all the boxes in the study. Sam was at work. He's an engineer and he goes into work every day, sometimes even on the weekends. I work from home most days, so the study was really my space. I've been procrastinating for weeks. Our friends coming over was the push I needed to finally do it. I was in the middle of clearing the room out when I felt this unease in my stomach. I normally have some gut issues, so I didn't think too much about it. After like 2 minutes, I knew this wasn't the normal discomfort I feel. I felt so nauseous that I literally started getting lightheaded. I almost puked on the rug in the study. I barely made it to the toilet before I was throwing up into it. I threw up for minutes. Literally all my breakfast down the drain. That's when I started putting the pieces together. You see, I haven't seen my period for like 2 months, but I have a medical condition. I won't bore you with the details. The important thing is that I don't get my period very regularly. It's normal that I go a few months without one, but I just got nauseous out of nowhere and threw up. Plus, I haven't had a period. I had to take a pregnancy test. I drove over to the pharmacy and got one of those home test kits. I held my breath as I waited the 5 minutes for the test to be ready. It felt like eternity. Finally, my alarm sounded. Hammer time. There it was. 2 thick lines. I did a second one, and another, and another. All of them had the same result. Pregnant. At first, I was so excited. Sam and I had wanted a family for as long as I could remember. Like we were in the 8th grades picking out baby names. Men like Sam were made to be fathers. I could see him being kind and gentle. I could be a good mom for Sam. I could be whoever he needed me to be. But fear quickly set in. Sam and I weren't really trying, but we had an agreement that whatever happened, happened. What the hell was I thinking? I'd be a horrible mother. I'd never know what to do. I'd probably mess with the kid's life so bad that they hate me. After that, pure dread came in. This horrible thought popped up in my head. What if the kid wasn't Sam's child? I did some quick math. Sam and I have been intimate, but I've recently also slept with the pool boy on our honeymoon trip. The kid could also be his, right? I quickly pushed that thought down. No way I could be that unlucky. It was Sam's. It had to be Sam's. I knew I had to tell Sam. I decided to book a reservation at a restaurant that Sam and I had been meaning to go to. I then texted Sam and asked him if he could get off work early. Sam agreed almost immediately. Sometime around 4 he was back home. Usually he's home by 6. I told Sam about our reservation, and he immediately asked what we were celebrating. I wanted to tell him the good news right then. I've never been good at keeping secrets from him. I'm already keeping my cheating secret. Any more would wreck me. I just told him I'd tell him at the restaurant. Sam was excited, like a little kid. We had such a nice time at the restaurant. We split like 4 meals between ourselves and even had dessert. We hadn't done that in a while. After dessert, Sam asked me what the celebration was for again. As I looked at his face, I knew that this man was who I wanted to have kids with. I couldn't imagine someone else being the father to this kid growing in me. I held his hand as I told him the news. I've never seen Sam grin that wide. I thought his cheeks were going to split open. That's how wide his smile was. Without warning, he grabbed me and picked me up before twirling me around. When he put me back on the ground, he told the entire restaurant he was going to be a father. The entire restaurant clapped and cheered for us. The staff brought us another dessert for free. I felt on top of the world. We spent the next 2 weeks telling everyone we knew the good news, his family, my family, and all our friends. Naturally, everyone was crazy excited. This child was going to be the first grandkid in both our families, plus the first kid in our friend group. We received so many gifts from them. One of our friends even offered to make us a baby crib from scratch. This kid was so loved, and they hadn't even been born yet. Before long, the day our friends were supposed to come arrived. They got into Seattle around 6. They'd driven nonstop for 2 days straight. It felt so good to see them. We've been friends since elementary school. Even though some of us went to different colleges, we always remained close. We all lived in the same city before we moved away. It's always been us against the world. We put some music on and poured wine out for our friends. Like I said, 2 couples. Tyler and Ashley were the first couple. Henry and Jamie were the second. We decided to have a little game night. We played Jenga first. Then we played a very chaotic game of Monopoly. Finally, we decided to play Truth and Dare. This was when it all started to go horribly wrong. Just before we started Truth or Dare, there was a knock on the door. Sam and I were super confused because it was like 11 p.m. and we weren't expecting anyone. Our friends looked really excited as they told us that they invited one more person. They said they knew we loved surprises. They opened the door to reveal the guy I slept with just after Sam proposed. I was speechless. Sam just went up to hug him. Apparently, Sam and him grew close because they were in some classes together. They'd fallen out of touch after college. In all these years, Sam never thought to tell me this. He didn't know Sam and I were together. He didn't even look like he remembered we slept together. The game continued, but I was so anxious the entire time. I kept thinking he was about to tell everyone that we slept together in college. I kept thinking of the baby growing inside me that might not be Sam's. I felt claustrophobic all of a sudden. When my friends asked me truth or dare, I asked for truth. Jamie asked me to tell Sam one thing he didn't know about me. I panicked. The only thing I could say was, I cheated on you during our honeymoon. It went silent in our living room. Even the music stopped. No one was moving. They were just staring at me like I had grown 2 heads right in front of them. Slowly, Sam stood up and walked out the door. All my friends were staring at me with open mouths. Ashley asked me if it was some kind of joke I was pulling. Before I could answer, Cereal Guy slammed his hand on the coffee table and said he remembered he knew me from. He then called me his grocery store hookup. My friends' mouths dropped open. I just sat there very embarrassed. More silence. After a while, Henry suggested that Cereal Guy get out of the house. He agreed very quickly. I think he just wanted to get away from all of us. As he opened the door to leave, Sam came barging in. He had 2 suitcases in his hands. He didn't even look at our friends as he dumped the suitcases in front of me. He only told me 2 words. Start packing. I was very confused. I tried to laugh it away, but Sam wasn't smiling. He looked angry when I didn't move fast enough. Sam scoffed and went upstairs. Our stairs connect to the living room, so when he got to the top, we all could still see him. He went into our room. A few seconds later, he was throwing my clothes down from the stairs on the living room floor. That's when I started crying. Our friends were trying to calm him down, telling him he should sit down so we could talk it out. I don't even think Sam heard them. When he had finished throwing all my things on the floor, he came back down and started loading them in the suitcase. Finally, he opened up the front door and threw the suitcases out. Then he turned to me and gave a very mean smile. Go fetch, ho. He went upstairs into our room and slammed the door. Henry offered to drive me to a hotel to stay in, since Sam had basically kicked me out. Henry was angry too. He was Sam's best friend way before he was my friend. He yelled at me the entire ride to the hotel. When he got there, he asked me if the baby was Sam's. I told him I'm not really sure. He asked me if the honeymoon was the only time I'd cheated. I said no. I told him I cheated on him all through high school and college. Henry looked so disgusted with me. I could tell he wanted me out of his car as soon as possible, so I got out and got myself a hotel room. Now, I'm sitting in my hotel room writing this post. I'm not asking for help to convince my husband that I didn't cheat or anything. I am asking for how to get my husband to forgive me. So what should I do, Reddit? Update. 1 year later. Hey everyone. Sorry it took so long to update this story. Life's been crazy since I wrote that post. It's been a year now since I told Sam I cheated on him on our honeymoon. Remember I wrote how I told Henry that I had been cheating on Sam since high school? Well, he immediately told Sam and everyone else in our house when he got back from dropping me off at the hotel. My entire friend group turned their backs on me. They refused to answer my calls and reply to my emails. The next day, I went over to our house and Sam wasn't there. The house was locked up. There was a huge sign on our front lawn that said, "For sale." I was shocked. I called our realtor immediately. This was when he gave me the biggest surprise ever. In 1 day, Sam had managed to pack up all his stuff, get on the road back to Chicago, and put the house up for sale. He didn't need my approval because only his name was on the lease. When I checked his location, I saw that Sam was halfway to Chicago. He had practically left me halfway across the country with no home. How was I supposed to get home to Chicago now that I didn't have one in Seattle? I had only paid for 1 night at the hotel. I figured that I would come back and talk to Sam about it, and he'd let me back in the house. That didn't happen, obviously. Thankfully, I had enough money to get a bus ticket back to Chicago. The minute I got in the city, I went to see my family. They'd know how to get through to Sam. He always did have a soft spot for them. When I walked into my parents' house, I was shocked to see Sam sitting in the living room with basically all my family members. I didn't know this, but the night before, Sam had sent them all texts saying that we had important information to share regarding our marriage. They all thought it was going to be about the baby, so they all agreed to meet in my parents' house without thinking twice. When Sam saw me, he started sarcastically clapping. I felt humiliated as my family watched him call me the star of the show. It was only when my dad asked what was going on that Sam pulled out divorce papers and placed them on the coffee table. He told my family the entire story. He told them that I'd been cheating on him for years with anyone I could get my hands on. He told them that the baby might not even be his. My family was shocked. They thought Sam and I were a match made in heaven. After the shock came the anger. Sam just sat there with a satisfied smirk on his face as my entire family took turns yelling at me. After like 30 minutes, Sam told me that he's already signed the divorce papers. He just needs my signature to go through with it. He told me that he's taking my name out of our joint account. You see, Sam makes way more than me. He makes 3 times my yearly salary. I can't afford the lifestyle I'm now used to without him. 6 months later, and my baby boy was born. Surprise, surprise, he wasn't Sam's. I did a paternity test as soon as I could. He was the pool boy's child. I had no way of contacting the pool boy anyways. I would have to fly to Portugal again, and I know I can't afford that. I lost my friend group. Sam got them in the divorce. They've completely cut me out of their lives. I had to move back in with my parents. With my current salary, it is basically impossible for me to get a place that I can afford comfortably. Before I had Sam's salary to support me. I don't have that anymore. My family can't look me in the eye. Every day they remind me that I threw away a good man for nothing. The only good thing out of all this is my kid. It's just the 2 of us in all this. Sam is still in the city. I haven't seen him since our divorce hearing. Speaking of divorce, I thought I could easily sue for alimony. The judge was harsh on me and decided that I made enough that I didn't need Sam's money. I also couldn't get child support because there was reasonable doubt that the child was Sam's. Long story short, I didn't get a penny from Sam, even though he's swimming in money. I've lost a lot because of my cheating, but I'm not giving up on myself. I'm in therapy to become the best person and mother I could be. I've decided that despite all my family and friends hating me right now, I will find new people that love me for me. That's the end of the story, guys. Don't bother leaving mean messages. I'm not going to see it. I never use this app. I will leave this up, just so you all can be entertained or whatever. Bye.